Okay, day 14, Comey's announcement just came out saying we didn't see anything with Hillary's emails. So I'll get to that. But Eric Braverman, day 14, still missing. Mark Turi, still missing. I'll tell you who he is in a little bit. Why is he missing? It's the same reason that Christopher Stevens is missing, the ambassador who was murdered, tortured, and murdered. It's the same reason that Mark Turi is dead. The reason, September 2012, Ambassador Stevens was killed here. In the months before that, he was only there about 5 months. They were shipping not only Stinger missiles to these ports, but they were also shipping sarin gas. So anyway, this story broke in 2015. I'll go back and walk you through the timeline on how this happened. So that was Fox News. Only a couple months after the ambassador was killed, James Risen of the New York Times comes out and says, hey, there's this weird case going on with Mark Turi, this arms dealer, and they're saying that they're shipping these Stinger missiles that Qatar, the country of Qatar, bought them, and they're being shipped to Libya and Syria. Why is that important with Eric Braverman? Well, Eric Braverman was the CEO of the Clinton Foundation at that time, and they were making commissions, if you will, on those sales. They were getting donations from those countries for pay-to-play for those sales, and also they had intimate knowledge of those deals because Eric Braverman's husband was the director of KKR Global Initiative, Eric Brown. That's the firm also that has connections to David Petraeus, who's on their board now, but at that time was the CIA director, and Henry Kissinger. So what did they do? They packaged arm deals to Middle Eastern governments, and the big change was now also to Sunni and Shia tribes. Okay, let's talk about the cover-up. Daryl Issa sends a simple email when he reads it. After he reads this article on December the 5th, Daryl Issa sends a letter and says, wow, that's weird. I didn't realize that our government was sending weapons to people that were not on the approved list, that we're sending weapons to Syria and Libya through Qatar. That's going around the State Department rules. So what happens? Rather than turn over the emails, they go back to their old friend, Kadzik, Peter Kadzik. Who's Peter Kadzik? Well, he goes back to being the lawyer for John Podesta all the way back to the Monica Lewinsky trial. There's that famous email that said, Kadzik kept me out of jail. And then he went on into becoming involved in the Bill Clinton impeachment. All the friends of Kadzik, Loretta Lynch, Pete Kendall, he's the famous, oh my God, they know we have the thumb drive for the Huma emails. Lindsay goes all the way back to the Clinton Foundation in Arkansas, Whitewater. Kadzik also defended the oil smuggler Mark Rich, who owed $48 million in taxes. His wife made a $1 million contribution and got that $48 million wiped off the slate. What is going on here? Why all the arms to these tribes? Well, it's very simple. There's a pipeline that Qatar wanted that goes through Syria and Turkey to Bulgaria. Assad said no, and Erdogan wanted an exorbitant amount of money. So guess what? We had a coup here, or an insurgency here, and we had a coup here. Who reported this? Well, Seymour Hersh, he's a Pulitzer Prize winner, reported the rat line from Libya to Syria. This is the arms going from Benghazi over to these two ports that I showed you in the earlier slides. And also sarin gas. There was two gas attacks in about a year apart in Syria. One was near Aleppo, one was near Damascus. The precursors have a chemical signature, according to Seymour Hersh, from the Libya stock supply that Gaddafi had. This was also reported on later on that this was totally a concoction between Hillary and McCain and a thing called Project Timber Sycamore, reported in the New York Times a little bit later on. So everybody knows Hillary doubled arms sales in those countries, but what they are not familiar with is that she brokered an equal amount of sales through KKR and earned commissions to the Clinton Foundation for both of these sets of sales. They made a couple of huge arms deals to Saudi Arabia. I think one was $80 billion, so that was a bundle for a lot of other countries. But two names you don't see here. you don't see Libya, and you don't see Syria. That's why they sold the weapons through Qatar. The other thing is you see the arms dealers themselves also contributing to the Clinton Foundation, Boeing and Lockheed for the jets, and Raytheon for the Stinger missiles. The reason why you don't see a lot of Hillary's emails in the 650,000 Huma emails is she had Cheryl Mills, Philippe Reines, and Huma do all the dirty work. So Reines did the arms deals, Huma did the communication with the tribes, and Cheryl Mills did all the communications with the State Department. So here, because she's a lawyer, that is executive privilege. That's attorney-client privilege and protected. So I just talked about those 650,000 emails. The reason why the maid was printing out the emails was so that she could give them to Chelsea. Then Chelsea was giving them to her husband, who was at a hedge fund, who was giving them to KKNR, and whoever else, key intelligence, daily intelligence briefings. So that's why it's important that the maid is printing and faxing every day and Xeroxing for Chelsea. The one deal that got out was because they wanted to fix Mark Turi, that arms dealer we talked about. They wanted to say he was a rogue arms dealer, and that's why these stingers end up with, in these foreign countries. It wasn't Hillary violating the State Department rules. It was this rogue arms dealer that did it. So same thing with the King of Morocco. After doing the Middle East deals, you're going to find that the emails on Huma's server also are the North African deals. With King of Morocco was a $12 million gift to get off the arms list, prohibited arms list. You're also going to see this phosphate person who did a deal with the Department of Defense in Morocco giving $16 million. The key here, when Braverman went to the press, he went to NBC, he said, follow the money. That's how you figure out the Clinton Foundation. Also, you follow the arms and you follow oil. That's going to be your Mark Rich. You follow the arms, that's going to be David Petraeus. The Kadzik cover-up continues. They're trying to set Turi up to be the fall guy, to be that rogue arms dealer. Turi says, no way, Jose. I'm going to go to Fox News, May 2015, and I'm not going to, take the fall for this. And at that point, the destruction of evidence comes into play. Huma is starting to destroy all the schedules of Philippe, Cheryl, and her schedule, as well as the assistant and deputy secretary of state, Fides and Shapiro. Bill meets on the tarmac, giving Loretta an update on where Kadzik is on this guilty plea. They want to figure out where are we at, because this is going to keep coming up. We don't want this arms deal and Christopher Stevens' death and all this stuff and the sarin gas coming up right before the election. So, $675,000 bribe goes to McCabe at the FBI. Boom. Immediate surveillance on Turi and Braverman. So, shit hits the fan. In other words, October 5th, Clinton Foundation refiles its taxes. It rolls all the commissions from the Clinton Global Initiative into the Clinton Foundation. Braverman realizes he is going to be the fall guy for all the Clinton Foundation's bad doings. He realizes now Chelsea brought him in to launder or be the fall guy if it was ever discovered for those CGI deals. Turi also refuses to take the Department of Justice deal, saying, I'm going to go to trial. And that blows all their plans. DOJ drops the case. And then Braverman is now going to, he's going to be basically blamed to be being the conduit for KKNR. October 22nd, Braverman realizes that he's been under surveillance now for over a year and a half. Podesta knows that it was Eric Braverman way back in March of 2015. Probably it was in surveillance all the way back to the October meeting with Kadzik, but we don't know exactly. It could have been the January meeting. We don't know. It could have even been the March meeting, but he definitely was under surveillance beginning March 5th, 2015. Braverman sees all the WikiLeaks people dying. The New York lawyer dies in May. The London lawyer dies in August. McFadden, the founder, dies in the 22nd. Now Braverman's on the run, and now they're still missing. So that's where we are. So that explains pretty much everything. Yes, it wasn't Hillary's emails in the 650,000. She's smarter than that. She had, just like she had the maid print things out for her, she had Philippe forward the arms deal emails. She had Cheryl forward the State Department emails, and she had Huma forward her other emails.